Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Taxing Poetic, brought to you by Synexus Tax Solutions. My name is Timothy Howe, along with my co-host.
I'm Jenny Carter.
Hey, Jenny, great to see you. We're working remote today, thanks to our awesome producer, JB, hooking us up.
Yep, how's it going?
Yeah,
That's
man.
right.
I
Yeah,
like how
welcome
you
to
assumed,
my-
what time people were listening to this podcast, too.
Oh.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
well,
good morning,
I
whatever.
hope.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the UK, it's probably drinking time right about
Yep.
now. So
Think so.
congratulations. Go crack a pint. Yeah, and then actually
Very-
in 3 days, we're going to be celebrating our liberation from the wonderful people in the UK. So it's going to be awesome. We still
I
love you
know.
guys, but hey.
You know what? They blew a 13 colony lead.
They
That's
sure
exactly
did.
it. And we beat them by 37.
Smoked them, too. They had us in the first half, not going to lie.
That's right.
We really did until they started taxing tea and passing stamp acts and all that other fun stuff. So you
Can't
gotta
do
I
love
it.
that.
know. It all comes back to taxes, doesn't it?
That's exactly it, man. No taxation without representation. Gotta love it.
That's right. That's
Well-
right. So happy birthday, America.
Happy birthday, America. Well, congratulations, Jenny. I think you're going to kick us off with a haiku as always. So you want to hook us up?
Yes, I'm ready. You guys ready?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm
Oh, yeah.
I'm
All right.
ready. I think I'm ready.
All right. Sales tax holidays. I think it means paid time off, asking for a friend.
That's good.
So sales tax
These are
holidays
just getting
means
better by the episode. I'm telling you, man. That's
They
pretty
really
epic.
are. They're always like really succinct. They're good. Just like they're always really good. Yeah.
How many
Thanks,
times
guys.
did it take for you to write that down? Like, did you come up with that on your first charge?
Oh
Or did
yeah,
you-
no, it took me like 90 seconds. I'd
I
say.
mean, there's
I-
been some when she
In all
just does
honesty,
it
that's
right
pretty
at
impressive.
the
I'm not
start
gonna
of the
lie.
episode. She's like, "Oh wait, I forgot a haiku," and then she just writes
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and she just crushes
Good.
it down. Yeah.
I know.
you.
I know. I'm just a savant, a haiku savant.
You are absolutely a savant. Okay. So we're speaking of savants, I guess we're on to quiz time, right?
Yeah, it's quiz
Oh,
time. We're
yes.
doing it
Oh,
early just in
God.
case so nobody steps on any answers. This one is brought to you 100% by Donna McMurray.
Thank you,
which is
Donna.
nice.
Donna's grab bag.
Donna's grab bag of quizzes. So I'm just gonna guess the first question is for Tim. Oh, and if you're keeping track at home, Jenny is currently winning 9.5 to 7.
I'm keeping track.
But I'm
So, thank
down
you.
and not out. Okay.
Down but not out.
Everybody knows.
A lot
Down
of
but
ball
not
game
out.
left. It's only
The-
July. A lot of ball.
The
game
season is still young.
That's exactly
Un-
right. It's
yeah.
baseball,
Unlike you,
baby.
Tim.
It's a marathon. Hey, easy.
left. Oh
Take it
wow!
easy, Charlie Cheap Shot.
Personal attacks.
Person.
Wow.
I know we're the same age, so you know.
Amazing.
Right
Okay,
back at me.
Tim,
Okay.
tax holiday quiz. What year was the very first sales tax holiday?
Oh my gosh.
I have that in my notes here. If you had done your episode prep, you'd have it.
Possible.
Please.
I love it.
I'm gonna say 1941.
No, Jenny, what is it?
Oh, 1997.
Whoa.
No,
Holy
sure isn't. It's 1980.
Oh, really? My
Your
notes say
notes are-
1997.
Your notes are wrong. The notion of the holiday was first introduced in 1980 when Ohio and Michigan opted to not tax the sale of automobiles for a little bit of time.
Oh, okay.
And then New York experimented with the concept of sales tax holidays in 1996.
Okay.
But they don't do it anymore. New York's like, no, we're out.
I like that Tim just went for like 1941 when we didn't really even have sales tax then.
I mean, we were
Yeah, you
so
know.
busy then. We were
I know. And
we
that's
were
what I
too
was
busy
thinking.
as
I
a
was like,
country to
"Well,
be
it's gotta
worried
a
about how
wartime
much we're
thing.
paying
Let's
for
go ahead and
taxes
just
on
get rid of
pants."
it. There was
Really?
there was somebody who had sales tax back then. I think it was West Virginia, right?
yeah, exactly. I love it. It's like, no,
Like
there
I
was
said.
sales tax holidays every day for everyone back then because there was no
Right.
sales tax.
Buy government bonds. So, Tim, you're not going to like that. We have bitten ourselves by having an explanation, and now Jenny has a toss-up. But does she remember what I said? Okay. Which states started the first sales tax?
I think that would be Ohio and Michigan.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you,
Tim,
JB
that
and
is
Donna.
Brutal. That's on me. I owe Tim a point here. I'm
You
gonna see
know,
if I can
and,
get a
and
point.
it kind of goes to soccer since I've been watching like a lot of the Euro Cup and Copa America or whatever it is, and the fact
Yep.
is that that's an own goal, dude. Okay,
as
You
an
just
own
literally-
goal.
You literally just scored. You just scored an own goal.
What
Jody
items?
do it.
What items did the tax holiday apply for?
Was that to me?
That's to me.
no,
That's
that's
to
to me.
Tim.
Oh,
Oh.
automobiles.
Automobiles.
Boom.
Just
All right, so we're
I
even.
gotta stop talking in the quiz. That's what we've
Yeah.
learned here. So congratulations, 2 free points.
You just have so much natural curiosity, JB. That's what I
really
love
wanted
about
to
you.
know. Okay, Jenny, which state had the first sales tax holiday on clothes?
That I'm going to say is New York.
It is New York.
Yep.
Yes.
Because they got a weird
All
clothing
right.
rule. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Tim, what year did that take place?
1997.
Yes.
Thanks, Jenny.
You're what? See,
We have
it
got to
all
stop that.
comes
We didn't
around.
know this is definitely this quiz in particular. This is the one that's the most connected all the way through. It's like a couple, it's focusing on some things. But yes, so you guys are technically killing it right now.
Crushing it. Yes.
All right, Jenny, name 2 types of sales tax holiday, meaning like to what items they might apply to.
Oh, well, let's obviously we can do clothes and we can do automobiles.
They've got like
Nah,
they're
hold on.
more. Yeah,
Is it
I'm gonna let Tim.
like
I owe Tim a point.
hurricane
I'm
and
gonna let him try to steal.
hurricane and emergency preparedness items and like school items and school supplies?
Oh, I see. Types of, not specific items. Okay.
Now,
I feel like the
here's an
question was
interesting one.
flawed.
Dude,
There's
the engine's
another
warming
one.
up. Watch out.
I don't know. Tim got it right. And what I'll say,
Well, because you said no.
but then he knew what the ones. But they had the ones that we have is back to school, Second Amendment, emergency and weather preparedness, and energy efficient appliances.
Ooh, energy efficient appliances. Yeah, like windows and doors and freaking washing machines, and refrigerators.
Yeah.
TVs were always a big question with that. That's why they put the energy compliant thing on there. Kind of interesting.
Okay,
I'm fine to give Tim a point. We might as well make this close.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that was it.
That was
Tim,
okay.
Tim gets 3 points. Jenny gets 2. So that is Jenny at 11.5, Tim at 10.
Okay.
We've got ourselves a ball game.
Yes, we do. Extra innings or
Extra
something.
innings,
I don't
dude.
know. All right. I'm glad to hear I'm still in the lead. The race is tightening up, but Tim, there's always the next show, right? So
I'm coming for you. Watch out. It's tightening up. JB
Fair
keeps
enough.
giving me these softballs. That'd be awesome.
Well, I keep giving you guys the answers when I'm just, instead of just reading the quiz like Donna asked me to do.
Yeah, I guess more than a softball be considered like a meatball. So thanks, man. Thanks for throwing that out
Put
there.
it up on a
I know.
tee.
One of our mottos is states do better. It's like we just need to do better. Like quizzes,
That's exactly
just be better. Yeah. Okay. So yes, I guess you can debate when sales tax holidays started. Some say 1980, JB. Some say 1997, Jenny. But in all honesty, all joking aside, it sounds like they started in 1980, just with some different ideas. And for the most part,
everybody should pay sales tax. There shouldn't be a holiday, aka Tim. So congratulations.
Well, Tim, and that's why sales tax holidays are politically motivated. So they sound like a great idea when you're running for office. Because consumers like sales tax holidays, obviously, and there are pros and cons to them, which we'll discuss. The Ohio and Michigan one we referenced earlier about automobiles was to help revive the automobile industry. Isn't that right? I think we talked about that in a previous podcast. In those states, they were experiencing a decline.
They're 2 of the largest automotive states back in the late 70s, early 80s, and we just got decimated by the fuel crisis, right? So during the political era and just the issues that we were having with OPEC and everything back in the day, and oil production, gas prices went through the roof, and the automobile industry suffered greatly. So they thought it would be a great idea to obviously relinquish a tax for a little bit of time on automobiles and try to stimulate growth, right? Try to stimulate some additional, purchases of automobiles by doing that.
Yes. And then back then, I think everything was automated, or not automated, manual. I mean, Tim, you were back around those days in the 80s, right? Doing sales tax?
I was riding big wheels at the time. So, sales tax was a fleeting thought in my mind. But all the points that you mentioned were very correct. It was extremely manual. Probably was a little bit easier to do because everybody was doing it via, maybe pen and paper, calculator, or something like that at the time. So the fact is that nowadays with POS systems, that's one of the biggest problems that we have is trying to program these POS systems to adequately manage your sales tax holidays and take care of those. And we've heard horror stories from certain retailers out in the marketplace that It's very difficult from an administration standpoint. It's difficult from a compliance standpoint, right?
Absolutely.
You have certain days that these holidays are, on. Sometimes these states love to do it just on weekends. Like, it's weird how they figure out like how these, sales tax holidays are supposed to apply. It's kind of interesting, but at the end of the day, it makes our administration and compliance a little bit more difficult. So like if you look at Florida, July 1st through July 31st, Florida, you can go out and buy a lot of things that are for outdoor activities and get, free or tax-free admissions to like live events and state parks and a bunch of other things. At the end of the day, like it's really difficult when you look at their flyer. If you pull up the PDF for it, there's a lot of items and there's specific dollar thresholds for these items and there's specific descriptions for them. So a retailer had to go through, SKUs and their categorizations and identify what categories of items would be exempt in Florida and also what dollar thresholds would be exempt. So if you're selling a bicycle that's greater than the dollar threshold, it's not going to be exempt. Or does Florida say, hey, the first $250 are exempt and then anything above that? But if you look at the way that the flyer reads, your bike and anything else has to be under, I think it's like $250. But it's a very interesting approach to a sales tax holiday and literally makes Tim GPT's fuse want to pop when you have to think about an administration of it.
I think this is a classic example of this flyer, to your point, $35 or less for pool floats and inflatable chairs, pool toys. So if I'm buying a pool float that's $40, it's not considered, it won't be sales tax exempt. It sounds probably pretty cool and sexy and fun for a politician who's trying to pass this, and for a retailer, retailers and politicians love sales tax holidays, right? That's who loves sales tax holidays. The retailers, for the most part, at least on the front store end, they get a lot of foot traffic.
But again, anybody who's in the administration and accounting side, they're all literally pulling their hair out, right? And so it's really crazy. What happens if you run sales during that time? Do you imagine like, okay, well, I got to incorporate the sales price and figure out if it drops below those particular thresholds? I know JB's just sitting here drooling because of his new gorgeous backyard. He's like, oh man, is there something I can run down to the border in Florida and snatch up for, free of sales tax and bring it back home?
100%.
Go get some cornhole boards and some outdoor chairs and stuff like that.
One of the my question is just, can you just do this? I'm just like, hey, I'm a store owner. Like, hey, so anyways, I would like a sales tax holiday. We're not playing, how do you like go about it?
This would be a great question for Frank O'Connell, right? Our Georgia
or Jimmy.
Or Jimmy, true.
Yeah,
but I believe, Tim, JB, it has to be led by legislature, right? I mean, because you're exempting sales tax. They have to put it right in their budget.
I mean, they have to vote on it, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Just like any other piece of legislation. Yeah. And once it ultimately gets approved, then, it can be put into, law and they can actually apply it. But yeah, Jenny's right, 100%. Like it has to go through the legislature. Like some schmo in, Ocala just can't go, hey, I want to exempt horse feed for the next, 2 months. And, because it's prime horse breeding season. Well, no, that doesn't work. Anyways.
But, it's the principle.
I did hope you would talk about horse breeding at some point in the podcast and we get it off real early. So great.
So now we have to apologize to the Ocala, horse farmers.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been there to the horse farms. They're pretty cool.
It's the largest area of horse farming outside of Kentucky. It's kind of interesting. They raise more racing horses down there than almost in Kentucky. It's pretty neat.
I know. It's really, really beautiful there. So another complexity is sometimes local taxes aren't exempt. So if you have a sales tax holiday, say in Alabama, our favorite state, Colorado, Louisiana, you might be exempt from the state sales tax, but not the local sales tax. So then that's another complex issue for a retailer or a POS system. Is that something you can program in?
Yeah,
like a sales
100%.
tax.
Yeah, I mean, there's rules that you can set up in the POS, but the problem is that again, it goes with the categorization and having to identify the specific items and things of that nature. I mean, and if you think about it, like an emergency preparedness holiday, especially sales tax holiday, especially for hurricanes, like down in Florida and the ones that they have maybe in Texas or a couple of other states, it's really kind of interesting to see what items qualify and which ones don't. And it's just an administrative headache. I mean, it really is. It's all it is. I mean, we're sitting here griping, we're complaining. It does provide value to constituents and it does provide, increased visibility to politicians. And it is a good thing to do. Ultimately, on the surface, you're allowing people to buy something for less money, which is awesome. Right. But it is an administrative nightmare. I mean, I think it gives a platform for Jenny and I to gripe.
Exactly. No, as you all know, if you listen to this podcast, that's basically what we love to do is complain. So
that's exactly it.
Other sales tax, I mean, or other holidays on taxes? I have never heard of like hey, it's an income tax holiday. So just
I
go to
know,
work
wouldn't that be
today.
nice?
Property tax holiday. It's like buy a house. Is it
Buy
just
a
sales
That's
tax?
true. Yeah, Tim, what are your thoughts on that? I don't I'm trying to think. Are there any property tax, income tax? I don't.
No property tax holidays. No.
Yeah.
But why sale?
way.
Like, why did they decide? Oh, we can do sales tax. Like they don't really
Because
need the money.
it's one of the easiest ones to apply. And again, think about
Mhm.
it. It's the most regressive tax that we typically have. So it impacts the
point.
broadest group of people.
Mhm.
So it's you're never going to get a local municipality to agree to a property tax abatement holiday. That's just
Right.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, like, yeah, that's why sales tax is always selected.
All right. And another thing we have to consider when it comes to sales tax holidays as compliance people are audits and sampling. So just keep in mind if you're assisting a client with, an audit, that a sales tax holiday could kind of skew your sample, right, Tim? Like if
Yep.
you had, a lot of sales during the sales tax period, sales tax holiday period, and you start pulling those invoices and cash reports, just might be good to exclude that from an audit
Absolutely.
sample. Yeah.
Or include
Um,
them because
mhm.
everything's going to be correct. So congratulations. I mean, one of the two things you can just be like, "Hey, auditor, let's go ahead and do. Let's go ahead and pop this month. Let's knock this out."
Yes. And on the other hand, just like we talked about with Florida, if you're or say Alabama or Colorado, if you didn't charge sales tax on your $45 inflatable chair and you were supposed to, it's pretty complicated, right? So
Oh
you
yeah,
better have your backup, and the same for your local tax. So it's
yeah.
just
All
it's
your
just a lot
setups,
of
all your administration, everything has to be
Mhm.
completely documented. Especially when an auditor comes peeking around during the holiday season and you're the tax holiday season, excuse me, and you're um you know a retailer. So it's pretty complicated.
And one other interesting note I have is that some states allow a retailer to opt out of a sales tax holiday if 2% of their 2% or less of their inventory comes from the exempt items.
Oh, that's
How
pretty
about
interesting. I
that?
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why
Just
would you
so
want
they
just
Mhm.
because it's annoying because of the
Right,
headaches? You're
yes,
saying
the
that's why.
headaches, if a lot of their inventory, if less than 2% of your inventory were inflatable pool floats and you
What is
didn't
up
want
with you and
to
inflatable pool
It's
float?
it is your go-to.
I mean,
it's just my
you're
favorite
dropping it.
example. Okay, should I go with what else is exempt in Florida under Freedom Month?
There's a
Tackle
whole host of them.
boxes? Yeah. Goggles? I mean,
Goggles. There you go.
sunscreen?
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
man, I'm about to load up on sunscreen next time in Florida. Man, that stuff's expensive. The
it
Oh
is
sales
yeah.
tax on it, I can go
expensive.
buy a couple cases and ship it home.
Well, if
Sorry,
it's
Georgia.
15 if it's
Uh,
$15 or less,
there we go.
which for some sunscreen, it's not $15 or
No, it's not
less.
$15 less. Yeah,
So you're
I'm
getting
not getting. You're not getting any Neutrogena for $15 or less.
no, you're getting El Cheapo no ad. I
Banana
mean, from
boat.
Walmart. Yeah. No, Banana Boat, that's not that cheap either.
No, yeah, I need the
Anyway.
real sunscreen. My sunscreen, I'm always mad at it because I take it out in when we get into the summer months, and it's called Babies and Sensitive. Like, that is
So
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie.
really
babies.
Like
aggressive.
Do you feel
this guy that I went fishing with this last weekend busted out Super Goop, and I was like, "Isn't that what's her name?
Is that Gwyneth Paltrow?
Gwyneth
Oh, no,
Paltrow.
no,
It's
you're just
Gwyneth Paltrow.
thinking Goop.
I
That
swear to
flecks the
God,
real
like,
gold
but
in
it was
it.
the coolest sunscreen I'd ever put on. Like, it goes on like water, and it works
Of course it
amazing. I
is.
mean, look at me. I didn't get scorched. I'm
Wow,
like the
it is
whitest white guy
very
alive.
expensive. It costs $70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it really?
But
Did you just
yeah,
Google
sure
it?
does. Yeah,
Dang.
I do
Not
not know.
exempt. Not
I don't
exempt in
necessarily.
Freedom Month.
I cannot confirm or deny that Gwyneth Paltrow owns it, but I can I can say it's
Yeah, I
very
feel like that's
expensive.
a stretch. I feel like that's a stretch, Tim. I don't know if Super Goop is Gwyneth. But yeah, JB, do you feel attacked by being called babies and sensitive?
Yes, babies
I
and sensitive.
mean,
I always am like, man, that is just like that's very
yeah,
mean. I'm just
it's
trying
very
to make
rude.
sure I don't get skin cancer. But I guess that you can
That's good. Yeah.
imagine you thinking you're more powerful than the sun.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to put sunscreen on. Like, it's
Yeah,
the
it's kind of
sun.
obnoxious. Okay. Well, that was just a little bit of our analysis and the whys of sales tax holidays, who likes them, who doesn't like them as much. But I think, like we said, we all agree that They're not a bad thing. It's just a lot of complexity sometimes to consider.
So you'd call yourself
We
pro.
give Jenny a platform to complain for a second about compliance, and she just runs with it. So,
That's true. You might, you'll have to get the cane and like drag me off stage for sure. So we're hoping we're catching all of our listeners. It's pretty much the beginning of sales tax holiday season. And there are a lot of sales tax holidays coming up. So beginning July 1st through the end of the year. So we've got some back to school holidays in Alabama, Arkansas, and Connecticut.
I mean, if you think about it, back to school is literally one of the biggest sales tax holidays right now. So, aside from a couple of Second Amendment ones with Louisiana and Mississippi coming up in August and September, and then obviously the hurricane preparedness, down in Florida for Floridians, like the entire month of July. And back to school ones are absolutely the most popular, and you should check with your state. You got some big states that are coming up with Texas and West Virginia and a few of these others.
And let me tell you, I have completely taken advantage of Georgia back to school sales tax holidays because it is expensive. I have a rising senior and a rising junior. So I've had, how many years? A lot.
Look, let's
supplies.
not kid anyone. Jenny wears a shirt that says, "I believe in retail therapy." Okay. So any reason that she has to get out and shop, she's crushing it.
Especially for school supplies. That makes me happy.
No kidding. And just so
pencils
and
pins.
The great Google has told me that Supergoop is a popular beauty brand that is not related to Gwyneth Paltrow's lifestyle brand Goop in any way. It was founded by a completely different person. So
I knew it. In all honesty, a sales tax holiday for back to school, it can get very expensive. All the supplies you have to buy for the kids, and especially, for lower income families, it is not easy. JB, you'll be there before you know it, buying school supplies.
My school supplies would just be, you have to buy this iPad and these headphones.
Right.
And this AI subscription.
Like, they'll all have podcast mics and ring lights.
Right, exactly.
On the school supply list. Okay. As much as I love talking about Florida, we have to move on from Freedom Month, even though it is the best. So there's a couple other holidays we want to talk about. And Tim, I think you're teeing up our next one here, right?
Absolutely. We have Second Amendment holidays. So we've got a couple of Second Amendment holidays. One that's in Mississippi and one that's in Louisiana. Louisiana's first full weekend, in September. Mississippi's is like the last weekend in August. Gearing up for hunting season.
Yeah.
And then Jenny, I think you wanted to talk about, there was one last one I think you wanted to maybe mention.
Oh, yeah. Just one last one I thought was interesting. In New Mexico, it looks like on November 30th. So that might be right after Thanksgiving. I haven't looked at the calendar, or, Black Friday and all that. There's a small business Saturday. Oh, yeah. Obviously, it's a Saturday after Thanksgiving. So, so there you go. That's
they usually
kind of a cool
do
thing.
A small business Saturday after Black Friday,
but tax free though.
This specifically is a sales tax one.
See, American Express would always sponsor one that would basically, I think they either cut their 3% service charge like in half, or they completely eliminated it for small businesses, which I thought was like pretty cool. But yeah, no, this is really interesting that New Mexico is doing it for all small businesses and doing it on sales tax. I've never heard of that. That's pretty neat.
I think that's neat too. And you're right, JB. It's like, it's already kind of like the thing, like Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, there's something on Sunday, and then like Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday. But at least, for small businesses in New Mexico, they won't have to collect sales tax that day. So
let's just keep extending the week of shopping. Let's go to like mall, help support your local mall Wednesday and do some other stuff.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh my God.
So go ahead, and there's tons of other states that are having back to school sales tax holidays. So yeah, just hit your Google machine and you'll get a list of those, and just make sure you talk to your clients and are hitting your software and making sure everything's up to date, and enjoy your sales tax holidays, everyone.
There you go.
Yeah, and we have one apology before we close
we got one apology.
It's me to Donna. I ruined her quiz.
You completely ruined the quiz.
I gave you guys the answers. I'm sorry, Donna. I just wanted to let you know I am sorry. We could have apologized to horse farmers. We didn't
was supporting horse farmers.
We were supportive. I think we told them that they had a sales tax holiday in Florida, but they didn't because of other rules that already exist around like agricultural things in Florida. So
if I was going to say something bad about that section of Florida, it would have to be about the Gators. Okay, like that's just it. Okay, just be about the Gators and the
so I guess
entire
we'll
area.
apologize then to the Gators.
To the Gators. Yes,
We always have to add one apology during the apologies.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
perfect.
Right.
All right, who wants to take us home today?
I'll take us home.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening today. Please tune in. You can listen to the episodes in any order. You don't have to listen to them in a particular order. We really appreciate your listenership. If you want to have any questions, you can email us. You can pick us up on anywhere that you actually listen to your podcast. So thank you very much, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.